Hey there, fraction explorers! Ready to unlock the secrets of adding fractions? It's like putting together puzzle pieces of delicious pies or building blocks of knowledge. Learning about fractions helps us understand parts of a whole. Plus, it makes us math wizards. In this adventure, we'll learn how to add proper fractions and even mixed numbers. Don't worry, it's easier than you think. Get ready for some fun examples and helpful visuals along the way. Let's start with the simplest case, adding fractions that have the same denominator. This is often the first step in learning about fractions, and it's a lot easier than you might think. When the denominators match, it means the pieces we're working with are all the same size, so we don't have to do any extra work to make them fit together. It's like putting together puzzle pieces that are all cut from the same mold. The denominator is the bottom number of a fraction, and it tells us how many equal parts the whole is divided into. For example, in the fraction 3/7, the 7 on the bottom means the whole thing, whether it's a cake, a pizza, or a chocolate bar, has been split into 7 equal pieces. The denominator is like the rulebook for how big each piece is. When the denominators are the same, it's like having identical slices of cake. Each slice is exactly the same size, so you can easily count how many slices you have, no matter who ate them. This makes adding fractions with the same denominator as easy as counting up the slices. Imagine you have a delicious cake, and you cut it into 7 equal slices. Each slice is 1/7 of the whole cake. You can see the neat lines dividing the cake, making it easy to see that every piece is the same size. This is what the denominator is showing us, the total number of equal parts. Now, let's say your friend comes along and takes 2 slices. That means your friend has eaten 2 out of the 7 slices, or 2/7 of the cake. You can picture those 2 slices sitting on your friend's plate, clearly marked out from the rest of the cake. Then you decide to have a snack too, and you take 3 slices for yourself. That means you have eaten 3/7 of the cake. Now between you and your friend, 5 slices have been eaten. But let's see how we figure that out using fractions. How much cake did you both eat together? To find out, we need to add the fractions that represent the slices each of you ate. Since both fractions have the same denominator, we know the pieces are the same size, so we can just add the numerators. To find out, we simply add the numerators, the top numbers of the fractions. The numerators tell us how many slices were eaten. So 2 slices from your friend plus 3 slices from you equals 5 slices in total. In fraction language, that's 2/7 plus 3/7 equals 5/7. Notice that the denominator stays the same. We don't add the denominators together because the cake is still divided into 7 equal parts. The size of each piece hasn't changed, only the number of pieces that have been eaten. The denominator acts like a label, reminding us how the whole was divided. So together, you and your friend have eaten 5/7 of the cake. This is the beauty of adding fractions with the same denominator. You just add the numerators, keep the denominator the same, and you instantly know how much of the whole has been used up. Next time you share a treat, you'll know exactly how to add up your portions. Now, what if we want to add fractions with different denominators? It's like trying to combine slices from 2 different cakes, one cut into 4ths and the other into 6ths. We need to find a common denominator, a common size for our slices. To do this, we find the least common multiple, or LCM, of the denominators. The LCM is the smallest number that both denominators divide into evenly. Once we have the LCM, we convert each fraction to an equivalent fraction with the LCM as the denominator. Let's add 1/4 plus 1/6. The LCM of 4 and 6 is 12, so we need to convert both fractions to have a denominator of 12. For 1/4, we multiply both the numerator and denominator by 3. 1 times 3 over 4 times 3 equals 3/12. For 1/6, we multiply both the numerator and denominator by 2. 1 times 2 over 6 times 2 equals 2/12. Now, our problem becomes 3/12 plus 2/12. We add the numerators, 3 plus 2 equals 5. The denominator stays the same, so it's 5/12. So 1/4 plus 1/6 equals 5/12. Adding mixed numbers is like adding whole cakes and leftover slices. A mixed number has a whole number part and a fraction part. To add mixed numbers, we first convert them into improper fractions. An improper fraction has a numerator greater than or equal to its denominator. To convert a mixed number to an improper fraction, we multiply the whole number by the denominator, add the numerator, and place the result over the original denominator. Today, let's walk through the process of adding 1 1/2 to 2 1/4. At first glance, this might look a little tricky because both numbers are mixed numbers, meaning they have a whole number part and a fractional part. But don't worry, we'll break it down step by step so you can see exactly how to solve it. And by the end, you'll feel confident adding mixed numbers like these on your own. The first thing we need to do is convert both mixed numbers into improper fractions. This makes them much easier to work with, especially when we need to add them together. Remember, an improper fraction is just a fraction where the numerator, or the top number, is greater than or equal to the denominator or the bottom number. This step is important because it allows us to add the fractions without worrying about the whole numbers separately. Let's start with 1 1/2. To convert this to an improper fraction, we multiply the whole number, which is 1, by the denominator of the fraction, which is 2. 1 times 2 equals 2. Then we add the numerator, which is 1, to that result. 2 plus 1 equals 3. So we put that over the original denominator, which is 2, giving us 3 halves. Visually, you can imagine this as one whole pie and another half pie, which together make 3 halves. Now let's do the same for 2 1/4. We take the whole number 2 and multiply it by the denominator, which is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Then we add the numerator, which is 1, so 8 plus 1 equals 9. We write that over the denominator, 4, so 2 1/4 becomes 9/4. If you picture this, it's like having 2 whole pies, each cut into 4 pieces plus 1 extra piece, making a total of 9 pieces out of 4. Now that we have both numbers as improper fractions, the next step is to make sure they have the same denominator. This is called finding a common denominator, and it's necessary because you can only add fractions when their denominators are the same. Let's look at the denominators we have, 2 and 4. To find a common denominator, we look for the least common multiple, or LCM, of the two denominators. The LCM is the smallest number that both denominators can divide into evenly. In this case, the LCM of 2 and 4 is 4, because 2 goes into 4 2 times, and 4 goes into 4 once. So, 4 will be our common denominator. Now let's rewrite both fractions so they have this common denominator of 4. The 9/4 fraction already has a denominator of 4, so we can leave it as it is. For 3 halves, we need to convert it to an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 4. To do this, we multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2. 3 times 2 is 6, and 2 times 2 is 4, so 3 halves becomes 6/4. Now, both fractions are ready to be added, 6/4 and 9/4. With both fractions sharing the same denominator, we can simply add the numerators together. 6 plus 9 equals 15, so 6/4 plus 9/4 equals 15/4. The denominator stays the same, so our answer so far is 15/4. You can picture this as having 15 pieces, each 1/4 of a whole. But we're not quite done yet. Our answer is currently an improper fraction, and it's often more useful or easier to understand if we write it as a mixed number. To do this, we need to see how many times 4 goes into 15. 4 times 3 is 12, which is as close as we can get without going over 15. That means we have 3 whole groups of 4 with some left over. Now let's figure out what's left after we take out those 3 groups of 4. 15 minus 12 is 3, so we have 3 left over. That means our mixed number is 3 3/4. In other words, 15/4 is the same as 3 whole units and 3 out of 4 parts of another unit. You can visualize this as 3 whole pies and 3 out of 4 slices of a 4th pie. So to sum it all up, when you add 1 1/2 to 2 1/4, you get 3 3/4. This process works for any mixed numbers. Convert to improper fractions, find a common denominator, add, and then convert back to a mixed number. With a little practice, you'll be able to add mixed numbers quickly and confidently. Ready to test your fraction adding skills? Try these practice problems. First, 3/8 plus 4/8. Second, 2/5 plus 1/3. And third, 1 2/3 plus 1 1/6. Give them a shot. Alright, let's check out the answers and see how you did. This is the moment where we get to see all your hard work pay off. Remember, making mistakes is part of learning, so don't worry if you didn't get everything right the first time. Let's walk through each problem together and break down the steps so you can really understand how to solve these types of fraction problems in the future. First, let's look at the problem 3/8 plus 4/8. When you add these two fractions, you get 7/8. Why? Because the denominators are the same, which means you're working with the same size pieces. Imagine you have 3 slices of a pizza cut into 8 pieces, and then you get 4 more slices from another pizza cut the same way. Altogether, you now have 7 out of 8 slices. We simply add the numerators, which are the top numbers, because the denominators, or the bottom numbers, tell us the size of the pieces, and they're already the same. So, 3 plus 4 equals 7, and the denominator stays as 8. This is one of the easiest types of fraction addition because you don't have to do anything to the denominators. Next, let's move on to a slightly trickier problem. 2/5 plus 1/3. The answer here is 11/15. But how do we get there when the denominators are different? We can't just add the numerators like before because the pieces are not the same size. We need to find a common denominator, so we're working with equal parts. The least common multiple of 5 and 3 is 15. This means 15 is the smallest number that both 5 and 3 can divide into evenly. Finding the least common multiple is a key step when adding or subtracting fractions with different denominators. We convert 2/5 to 6/15 by multiplying both the numerator and denominator by 3, and 1/3 to 5/15 by multiplying both by 5. Now both fractions have the same denominator, so we can add the numerators. 6 plus 5 equals 11, and the denominator remains 15, so 2/5 plus 1/3 equals 11/15. And finally, let's tackle a problem with mixed numbers. 1 and 2/3 plus 1 and 1/6. The answer is 2 and 5/6. Mixed numbers can seem intimidating, but if you break them down into whole numbers and fractions, they're much easier to handle. To add these, we first convert the mixed numbers to improper fractions. 1 and 2/3 becomes 5/3, and 1 and 1/6 becomes 7/6. This makes it easier to add the fractions together, since we're now working with just numerators and denominators. The least common multiple of 3 and 6 is 6. This is the smallest number both denominators can divide into. So we'll use 6 as our common denominator for the next step. We convert 5/3 to 10/6 by multiplying both the numerator and denominator by 2. Now we add 10/6 and 7/6 to get 17/6. This is an improper fraction, which means the numerator is larger than the denominator. Finally, we convert 17/6 back to a mixed number. 17 divided by 6 is 2, with a remainder of 5, so the answer is 2 and 5/6. Great job working through these problems. Remember, practice makes perfect, and every time you solve a problem, you're building your math skills and confidence. Congratulations on mastering the art of adding fractions. Remember, practice makes perfect. Keep working with fractions, and soon you'll be a fraction whiz. Don't be afraid to use drawings or objects to visualize the fractions. It can make adding fractions a whole lot easier and even fun. Now go out there and conquer the world of fractions.